I had to touch on this topic because I know a lot of people are, or at least it used to be something that people talk about. No, I still hear little inklings of it every now and then. But I wanted to talk about the subject of, pastors in churches regarding money, tithes, offerings, all those things. A lot of you have their preconceptions about it. A lot of you have thoughts about it beforehand. And, I'm here to address that and kind of analyze the situation and see if we can get to a healthy understanding of church and money. And so for a long time, I've heard people assert that pastors or churches are only trying to get money. People are becoming increasingly skeptical of churches taking tithes, offerings, etc. Basically, this video is to dissuade people from that skepticism because honestly and truthfully, we shouldn't have it. And I'm going to explain the reason why. So, quick note though, this is not to say that there are no preachers or churches who have fallen to the sin of greed and the love of money, because there are. We've seen cases of it. People have gotten in trouble for it. So, I'm not denying that. It's just to say that this does not represent the church and it cannot be used to categorize all preachers and churches this way. Because once you do that, you really falsely falsely invalidate the church as a source of truth and salvation from which Jesus Christ will give. And that's unfortunate. That's a consequence that I've seen. I think people turn away because of small things like these and not really understanding the truth just based on these assumptions that they have, based on these bad examples that they've seen. So I've come to debunk those. And just simply, quite simply, the church receives offerings to handle business expenses and ministry costs. And it's a bit more nuanced than that. It's a little bit more that goes into it, but I'm just going to highlight those two things and some of the things that includes, and then I'm going to conclude the video. So business expenses are stuff like utilities and building maintenance. You got to take care of the actual building, make sure that it's still operational. That when you come in, they have the air conditioning, they have water, whatnot, so that you can basically have the daily functions of life. And two, ministry costs, which include stuff like outreach and food drives. You're paying for people to go minister, people to go preach the gospel to people. You're paying to do charity. You're using the money to fund those things so that they can happen. I was saying, if you're the church, you're supposed to be doing things. Well, in today's society, you need money to go do those things. So that's also cost. Also, and here's one: it's potentially used for ministry causes in paying ministers' salaries. Not every church can afford this though, and so that's why some churches don't pay their ministers. But even the Bible says, so, the one who preaches the gospel should be paid for their labors, and so some churches have a fund for their pastor and for the musicians and for the social ministers, and all of those involved with making sure that the ministry goes and that they're preaching the gospel and that they're doing things they need to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there are those who have fallen to the sin of greed, and you have to be wary of that. But for the most part, there's nothing wrong with, the ministry costs and the business costs. That's what money is taken for. Now, if you have some more things that you want to talk about, you can do it in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do a video on a certain aspect of it or certain specifics or details that maybe you have questions about. I would love to do that. Comment and subscribe to the channel and be on the lookout for more videos. Thank you for listening.